Oh, please. Mother Teresa, you never used birth control. I know a slut when I see one. Hello, and welcome to UnWineD, the guided meditation for the end of the world, the only guided meditation with a wine pairing. My name is Reuben Kaye. My mother called me that because the wordless scream that erupted from her mouth when she saw me rocket out of her nether regions didn't fit on the birth certificate. I'm a cabaret star, a slam poet, educator, inspiration, the world's most sexually aggressive jigglypuff, and the reason they invented the term catch and release. You know, people often say that cabaret as an art form is shallow, meaningless, and only performed by amateurs who can't make it in other legitimate art forms. And to you I say, welcome to UnWineD, you perceptive, insightful bitches. Tonight, we're filming in my boudoir/drainage basin. Isn't that glamorous? There is a rat eating my foot as I speak. Now, for any newcomers to UnWineD, this is a public coping mechanism for the woes of isolation in the extended stay of Lorona. If at any point you've wondered, how long does crack take to hit someone? Or wouldn't it be nice to be in a coma throughout all this? You've come to the right place. Also, I know a guy, so DM me. If, in the shadow of this global pandemic, you felt vulnerable and just want to scream into the void, then welcome. As a homosexual who's worked in the arts my entire life, believe me when I say this, no one understands a vacuum quite like me. Now, it's a scary world out there right now. People are desperate, alone. Our ability to connect as humans is crumbling, and more importantly, there's officially no more yeast. All those hipsters haplessly staring at all the kilos of flour they bought with no yeast available. I mean, spare a thought for all the miserable people staring at their bread makers and just praying for thrush. Tonight, like every night at UnWineD, I'm going to take you through a guided meditation that is specifically designed for these turbulent times. We're going to work our way through, up, and out of this using the only thing that could possibly help in a global crisis. Self-indulgent self-help cliches that have been created to target the most vulnerable in society. Because literally the only other option is exercise, and to be honest, my body has been through enough. My body is like Princess Diana's Mercedes. It costs a lot of money. It once carried a potential queen, but now it's simply a wreck. And much like Princess Diana, my last meal was also scrambled eggs, champagne, and Arab semen. Now, if the thought of me running a guided meditation seems about as good an idea as Lindy Chamberlain opening a creche, you're right. This is a horrible idea. And you may ask, what have I, Reuben Kaye, model, actress, and professional gargoyle for rent, ever achieved, apart from winning every game of gay chicken in college, without ever actually going to college? And the truth is, I'm a qualified professional. I was the first fetus to face-tune my sonograms. I once won my virginity back in a game of cards. It was very soiled and did not keep well out of the fridge. I was the first presenter on Play School to outbeat Ted as a leather bear. And I taught Jeffrey Epstein how to clear his browser history and tie a Windsor knot. I am the embodiment of gay culture. I'm flamboyant, colourful, and my signature fragrance is amyl nitrate and my father's disapproval. You know, I was walking down the street yesterday and the driver leaned out the window and screamed, "Faggot," and I almost cried. It's been weeks since I was recognised on the street, and it was so nice to know that he was familiar with my work. Now, if you find some sense of calm or relief from tonight's meditation, my PayPal link is paypal.me/RRK entertainment. It's in my bio and pinned. As my mum always taught me, you don't have to suck the dick, but you do have to roll it round in your mouth to get the money. I miss Mum. Her idea of housework was sweeping the room with a disapproving glance. Now, I know that the demographic for this show is elderly gay men and mothers who are hiding their drinking problems from their kids by sneaking bottles of Pinot Grigio into the laundry basket, behind the good china, and, in some cases, the glove compartment. But I want to address any possible straight men, or men who think they're straight, like straight's a thing these days, who might be watching. If you look at me and see something foreign, unknown, scary, don't be intimidated. I'm hung like a bee. And by that I mean, when I pull out, I die. I would also like to let you know that tonight I am doing a cross promotion. You can donate to my PayPal, paypal.me/RK Entertainment, or you can donate to mealsonheels.com.au. They are a food delivery service in Melbourne who are delivering food to people that need it most in these times. And as an added bonus, they are employing all of Melbourne's unemployed drag queens to do it. So make a donation, you'll be feeding someone and giving them the marvellous treat of a lifetime, and keeping a drag queen off the streets. I would also like to say, in very real terms, that there is a lot of ever-mounting anxiety and fear present in all of us now. I've seen people crying in the streets this week. I have been one of those people. This is overwhelming and unprecedented, and our emotional reactions are valid, visceral, and real. So don't let anyone tell you to be stronger or toughen up. We're all dealing with this, with an emotional gas tank that is running on empty. So if you see someone having a hard time, don't walk past. Don't ignore them. Don't make them invisible as well as in pain. Steal their bags. They're not looking. Now, what can I, the only horseman of the apocalypse to ride side saddle, have to offer you tonight? Well, hopefully some calm, some respite, and possibly the deterioration of your ability to create and recall memories as we delve into the wine. Now, tonight's wine is not just barely a wine, it's barely a liquid. What can I say about this wine that the WHO hasn't already said in a statement on genocide? According to the storage directions, I've had to keep this wine away from sunlight, children, open flames, and direct contact with my skin. This wine is rougher than a Lars von Trier movie marathon, with less laughs, but the same amount of death. It's harder than Nicole Kidman trying to look surprised without splitting her face open, more uncomfortable than every sex scene in a Larry Clark film, and more unstable than the UK government's pandemic response team. The description on the bottle says robust, dry, and cuts through grease and mould with just one easy swipe. I'd say we're scraping the bottom of the barrel, but this wine wasn't made in a barrel. In fact, by the smell, I'd say this wine was made in a meth lab by someone with very poor hygiene. Oh, it says here it's made in Croydon, so close enough. Yeah, that tastes like a hostel mattress. So this grape is a blend of Shiraz, Mourvedre, and self-harm. It should be paired with a good piece of red meat or a suicide note. This wine tastes like the final scene in every episode of TLC's I Didn't Know I Was Pregnant. And so now, what I want you to do is find a place you can settle. No, I don't mean your marriage. I mean a space that's distinctly yours, away from family, your children, or your spouse that you've been cooped up with for 4 weeks, the people you're meant to love and support, but have actually become more like a pillow over your face, slowly smothering you with their very presence. They are always there. There is no escape. I would recommend not reading the Charles Manson autobiography at this time. It'll only put ideas in your head. I want you to find a comfortable, quiet, serene place where the only sounds are your breathing and the pop of the cork gently escaping the bottle of red Panadol you're currently opening. Oh, that's stuck. Are you there? Look around you. If you spy any of your family or roommates, stare at them unblinkingly until they leave. Good. Now we're alone. Let's take your first sip of wine and my umpteenth. Oh, it doesn't get easier. Well, it's the wine equivalent of the Kennedy assassination. And we can start our breathing, okay? In and out, or out and in, depending when you started listening. Let that breath in through the nose, and out through the mouth, or any orifice you choose. This is your meditation and your pandemic. You breathe however the fuck you want. Now let's listen to your body. What's it saying to you? Is it saying, I need physical help? Is it saying, after 4 weeks alone with my family, I'm beginning to think the Menendez brothers had a point? Let's focus on that tension and let it go. Let's start just by taking our hands and stretching them out and then balling them up again and repeat. Stretch and clench. Stretch and clench. My fellow ringmasters know what I'm talking about, as does anyone who's signed up to Field. Now let's run down our body. We take our head high on the spine, balanced so precariously, almost like our emotional state right now. And like our emotional state, we're just going to let it slowly fall. Just let it gently collapse in on itself and hang there, listless and limp. Feel that stretch. Doesn't that feel great? If you feel like it, have a little cry. In fact, have a big one. Let those tears fall into your lap like your own personal diamonds of pain. I have been weeping for the last 7 days now. I am so dehydrated I could substitute as food on a space station. And as we raise up, vertebrae by vertebrae, until we're back to neutral, let's travel down to our chest, the calcified cage that holds our heart and lungs in. As you breathe, just feel that tightness. Recognize that for what it is, the signs of an oncoming cardiac event, and be at peace with that. Breathe. Oh, if this wine were a person, it would be Gary Busey. And now we move down to our belly, the source of our breath, the center of our being and our sensuality. Breathe deep into your belly. Feel the opening of your pelvis. Try not to slide off the seat as you open. It can get very slippy if you are too enthusiastic. I once actually slid down a bar stool doing this naked once, but that's a story for another day. And you should already feel calmer, open, and ready. Ready to say, fuck off. So take a breath in. Let it fill you. Keep going. Breathe in. And keep breathing in. And keep going until the zenith of the breath. And picture one of your stresses. It could be anything that's affecting you negatively this week. The news that your government assistance was late because Trump felt having his name on it was more important than it getting to you. The fact that for some of their financial assistance will only arrive in June, by which time they will be so behind on their mortgage or rent that they'll be forced to give handjobs on the street like an out-of-work cabaret performer who shall remain nameless. And on your out-breath, repeat after me, fuck off. Doesn't that feel better? Let's empty that tank, shall we? That's good. My mouth wants to press charges. Now, my first breathe in and fuck off. Donald Trump has absolved himself yet again of responsibility by leaving the decision to lock down to the states, in effect turning America into a warring Wild West city-state fighting over supplies and battling an undereducated public who are gathering en masse to protest the lockdowns, which are for their own safety. And Trump has encouraged these protests, proving that he really does not give a shit about the health and well-being of the American people as long as they're voting for him. Breathe in and fuck off. The Australian government has suspended the local content quotas as part of its $54 million rescue package for television, radio and regional publishers. This means that as of today, Australian channels are now no longer obligated to screen or make Australian TV shows. This is nothing short of a death knell for the Australian TV industry, as we just become a broadcaster for international products. and ignore the vast pool of talent in Australia, without which we would not have international actors like Hugh Jackman, Kate Blanchett, Naomi Watts, Toni Collette, not to mention all the Oscar-winning designers, production crew, directors, etc. that Australia produces. We have a reputation overseas as hard-working, talented people not to be messed with, but now, without any nurturing from our government, I fail to see how we can have an industry capable of surviving. Breathe in, and fuck off. The British people are reeling from the news that British Prime Minister and fallen souffle Boris Johnson attended his first coronavirus meeting on March 2nd. There were 5 meetings prior to this that Boris also missed, deciding instead to complete the EU withdrawal, reshuffle his cabinet, and then go on holiday to his country retreat for 2 weeks with his pregnant fiancée Carrie Simons, who last I heard was watching Rosemary's Baby on repeat and weeping. Breathe in and fuck off. Oh, my uvula feels like the head of a burnt match. To anyone who is shaming another person for dealing with this whole fuckery in a way that seems different or foreign. To anyone who is shaming people for not using their time in isolation to bake 3,000 loaves of banana bread, learn Mandarin and solve cold fusion, or remodel their entire house. And to anyone who is shaming other people for actually coping through all of this, most likely because they have dealt with significant trauma themselves and are better equipped to traverse this insanity, breathe in and fuck off. Oh, how can a wine make you more drunk and more sober at the same time? Florida, continuing its reputation as America's douche nozzle, has reopened its beaches against all expert warnings, and people are flocking in droves to enjoy the sun, the sand, and the millions of predicted community transmissions as Florida's shitterati gather together to breathe on each other in the name of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. In one word, dumb! I will now be placing bets online as to how long until Florida becomes a plague hospital. And now, breathe in and fuck off. And now we've cleared some of that bad energy, we should feel lighter. And now before we replace all that with wine or whatever this shit is that I'm drinking, let's access the positive. Channel our fucking chi into the light and do the next part before we remember how awful everything is. Oh, almost had a Karen Carpenter moment there. Let's begin our affirmative affirmations of light, or whatever. The Scottish National Party members are donating a £7,000 pay rise to charity, unlike their Tory counterparts who are keeping it like the thieving, misanthropic, careless cunts they are. I applaud the SNP for once again teaching the world how politicians are meant to act. Cheers, and take that goodness in and breathe in some light. Not to be outdone, Jacinda Ardern, New Zealand head of state, and the next candidate for an atheistic canonisation, has voluntarily taken a 20% pay cut. If only other politicians would follow in her footsteps. Once again, Jacinda, this is the 3rd week in a row you've made our list, and we fucking love you. Cheers, take that goodness in, breathe in some light. International chain Shake Shack has returned a $10 million loan meant for small businesses. If only other large multinational companies could follow in their example. I'm not looking at anyone, Richard Branson. Thank you, Shake Shack. Cheers. Take that goodness in and breathe in some light. Ooh, this is a good one. In a surprise twist, Denmark and Poland have refused to bail out companies registered in offshore tax havens. Bravo. This is a policy that every government should take. If you're a multi-billion-dollar company and you don't contribute, then you don't get to claim assistance. Bravo, Denmark, and bravo, Poland. I mean, it's not like anyone from Poland is watching this. If they are, they've probably never seen a man this gay before. At least not alive. Cheers, and take that goodness in. Now, oh goodness. To the Copyright Agency of Australia, who have just released $375,000 and brought forward $1.8 million in cultural funds grants in COVID-19, effectively helping the visual arts and publishing sector, while our own government not only ignores the arts, but actively attempts to dismantle it. Cheers. Take that goodness in. Breathe in light. It does not get better if you let it breathe. I've also had boyfriends like that. Theatre, opera, circus and ballet companies around the world are making the footage of their previous productions available online for all of us to watch. And several streaming sites have opened up specifically for stand-up comedy and circus. The National Theatre in London, multiple dance companies. For circus, you can sign up to Netflix, and for comedy, you can look up nextupcomedy.com, and many galleries are opening virtual tours of their collections. It is heartening to think that one of the few tiny upsides to this pandemic is that we are making theatre and the arts possibly more accessible than ever before in the face of draconian cuts. Cheers, take that goodness in, and breathe in some... Look, I'm obliged to mention that Andrew Lloyd Webber has also made his shows available on YouTube for the tens of people who demanded it. I assume it's the same market of people who are shopping in Amazon for a shotgun, a mouthguard and a packet of Panadol Fort. Kentucky is full of them. And finally, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo let rip in a press briefing and tore Donald Trump a new anus. I do not know anything about Andrew Cuomo, and I am not remotely sexually attracted to him, but after watching him rip into Trump on national TV, I would let him fuck me with an angry cat and still say thank you. Just visualize that for a second and take that goodness in. Take a sip. And breathe, and come back to neutral. Have you expelled enough negativity to function normally? I hope so. Remember, I would also like to note that today is Yom HaShoah, an important day for the Jewish people. It's the day that my people remember those murdered by the Nazis and their allies across Europe, especially now in a time of international suffering and mourning, in a moment where we all become acutely aware of our interconnectedness and our pain. Yom HaShoah is there to remind you that no matter how much we suffer, us Jews did it first. We did everything first. Now, I know that this is difficult, and I know we're all waiting for it to be over so that we can celebrate our survival and return to whatever normalcy we can scrape together. It's like me waiting for my sex life to resume after a tonsillectomy. But it will end. There will be a new normal, and we will be able to touch, hug, kiss, fuck, and suck again. And in the meantime, if you're down, if you need a laugh, a friend, a distraction, come here. I'm here every week because I am literally filming this in my basement. And if I can leave you with one word of advice, from my own experience, never, under any circumstances, take a sleeping pill and a laxative at the same time. Good night, and good health. Oh God. We need to do one with gin and tonic. Oh no, that was a shit one. Let me do another one. We've got more of it, and it's not my house. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Again, if you want to donate, my lovelies, paypal.me/RRK entertainment or mealsonheels.com.au. Get out there, support charities if you can, give to the arts. And I'm here every week, 9:30 Melbourne time, 11:30 UK time, and whatever corresponding time it is anywhere else in the world. I love you all. And now I'm going to have to do all of this shit myself because I am a professional. Oh no, I can't. I have to go around the back. So you're not going to see, you won't see me as the last frame. I love you. I love you all. I just want to, how the fuck do I turn it off? There we go. And